What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. If you guys are new to the pond series, go back, check the whole playlist we got. You can literally see the process from start to almost finish. I'm sure you can see behind me, the pond is full. And man, it's pretty special to have your own pond here in the yard. So it's pretty cool to be at this stage. Man, I've learned a lot. We've learned a lot of good things, a lot of bad things. I mean, we've been through it all here, and I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through, give you a little update, a little progress update of the pond, and kind of give you guys the pond update that everyone's been asking about. I mean, it's been constant questions, everyone asking about, you know, how's the pond doing, what's the pond like. So here we go, let's dive in, let's talk all about our new pond. Okay, so if you guys have been following this journey, you can see a lot has changed since the last video. So the last update that we gave you guys, this was basically just a big hole in the ground right here. There was no water. We kind of walked you through, showed you all the structures and kind of the depth changes and everything throughout the pond. So it's really cool to see it now full. I actually find myself going back and looking at that footage to kind of see what's actually down there, because you actually kind of forget, you know, if you just get used to looking at it full, you kind of forget that there's a line of rocks out there, there's some stumps, there's some trees. You can see some of the brush actually is sticking out of the water a little bit. So, you know, we may trim that up at some point, but it's pretty cool to see it this way right here. So a lot has changed since the last pond update. So I guess the big thing is, obviously it's full of water, it filled up. So we had a small shower come through actually while we were at the Lake Murray tournament, and we come home from that event, and just the little basin down there, just the deep zone, had a little bit of water in it. So we're like, man, that's exciting to see that, you know, it rained a little bit and it's holding water in that basin. And I think it was, you know, maybe the next weekend, or it wasn't long after that, we got a big rain. We got, I think, over 5 inches of rain in less than 24 hours. And it went from just that little basin to spilling over the spillway, completely full, and actually over full, you know, flowing over the spillway down there, which we'll head over there in a minute and check out all of that. So the pond has been full for, wonder how long that's been. Let's look at the calendar real quick. Let's see. Today, so it filled up fully on March 15th, and today is April 17th. So it has been completely full for a month. So it has been full for a month now. And yeah, it's pretty crazy, and a lot has changed since then. So the pond filled up. The next step after that, we're like, well, the pond's full. Let's kind of let the water settle for a little bit, see what happens. And let's get some fish in there as soon as possible. So we actually had some fish delivered to the pond. They're in here now. We got a fish feeder set up. Actually, let's run a little test on the fish feeder, see if we can get any activity going while we're talking through the rest of this process. So we had some bluegill fatheads, and golden shiners delivered. Whoops. Okay, she's gonna send some food out to the fish now. I just did a quick test for 1 second, just to shoot a little food out, see if we get any activity here for the video. That seemed like a pretty long second if you ask me, but we got some food in there, so we'll let that settle and see if any fish find it here while I walk you through the rest of the little update. So like I said, we put 700 bluegill in here. Well, 500 bluegill and 200 shell cracker, and 50 pounds of fathead minnows. So by my math, that kind of equals out to like 10,000 little fathead minnows. And then we did 10 pounds of golden shiners just to kind of see how they do in here for now. And I really wasn't sure how the, you know, how the fish would survive. You know, I really wasn't sure about, you know, all of this. So, so far it seems they're doing well. They've been in here for, I guess 2 weeks now. The fish have been in here for 2 weeks, and it seems like they're flourishing. They are enjoying the feeder. I put the fish feeder here because the water is so dirty, and I wasn't sure, you know, what type of food was going in there for them. You know, I want the bait fish and the bluegill to flourish, so wanted to make sure they have something to eat so they can continue to grow before we put any bass in here. We got any activity yet? We got a few little dimples. It's pretty wild. So we have set the feeding timer to 7 p.m. So every evening at 7 o'clock, the fish feeder goes off. And what I've learned is, you know, once you set that feeding time, the fish really find it. Like they are here, they're waiting at 7 p.m. every night now. It's pretty incredible how fast they can learn, you know, all that. So we've been coming down every evening that we can and watching them, and it gets really active down here about 7:30. So it's pretty cool to watch. Anything going on? Not really. It's a little dead right now.
There's a few of them. I mean, they're used to their regular feeding time.
Yeah, they're used.
They like school up on it, but yeah, you can see. Look.
We got a few dimpling out there, and a lot of that is. Yeah, there we go. They found it.
We should have done 3 seconds.
So anyway, next we obviously we got the fish in there. We got the feeder set up, so the fish are happy. The next issue that we kind of ran into was a lot of the erosion and the runoff from obviously the rain running in, and it, you know, kind of was washing out some of the shorelines, washing out this hillside right here. So Brittany and I laid a whole bunch of sod. This is what we did right here. We laid some sod. This is like the bulk of the steep kind of hillside, and this is where a lot of the erosion was happening, kind of running into the pond. So we laid 2,000 square feet of sod right here on this little bank, if you will. I got some grass seed growing on some of the other areas, the little smaller areas that didn't have a whole lot of erosion issues, but we ran into a pretty good erosion issue here, so I had to get some sod down to kind of stop that immediately. And we're working on some options to clean up the rest of the pond and, you know, get some grass growing. If you guys got any suggestions, be sure to drop that in the comments down below. We also ran into a little bit of an erosion issue over by the boat ramp area. Learned a little bit more about the property, honestly. Learned about some more where the water's coming from and how it's running. So we're gonna have to make some measures to fix that here eventually. And then other than that, things have been going pretty smoothly here. You know, the spillway worked as designed. Everything worked out perfectly there. I do think maybe sometime over the summer, I would like to actually concrete that spillway rather than the riprap. I think it would just look cleaner, neater, and actually be able to adjust the water level a little bit. You know, I think I would actually like to bring the water level up maybe a few inches, 6 inches, to, you know, normal pool. So we're gonna maybe add a little lip on that spillway. But those are just the kind of things that you learn as you go. We kind of, you know, had to see what it looks like when it's full, when it's at a normal level, and, you know, kind of let things settle and stuff like that, and then kind of make those adjustments as it's going. But for now, the pond update, she's full. She's full of bait fish and bluegill, and we're just waiting on the water to clear up. So that's another thing that I've learned a lot about is, you know, new ponds and water clarity and how long it takes them to clear up. You know, I really wasn't sure what to expect here with water clarity. You know, a lot of the runoff is clay, so it's going to be dirty, it's going to be stirred up, and I wasn't really sure what to expect on that, but it seems it's cleaning up a little bit. We haven't had rain in a few days, so it seems like it's cleaning up. Every time I look at it, I'm like, man, is it cleaner? Is it not? And I think it is. You know, I got a test jar actually sitting in the garage, and I can see some of that clay starting to settle in there. So I feel like if we just give it enough time, it will clean up on its own. You know, the test holes that we dug here did eventually clean up on their own. You know, they started out pretty dirty, but they actually ended up cleaning up on their own. So I feel good that it will eventually clean up. It just takes a while. You know, it's some of the research I've done on new ponds. It just takes a little bit for the water to clean up. Now, if it doesn't clean up, there is some options we can take as far as treatment, you know, with apparently barley straw works well, or you can use some aluminum sulfate, I think it is. I forget. I did the research on it, and obviously we would
It helps it reionize.
we would do a lot more research before we do anything like that. I would prefer not to use any treatment. You know, I'd prefer to keep the pond as natural as possible, but we will definitely look into that as time goes on. But that's it, guys. Quick little pond update. Wanted to bring you guys this. Like I said, everybody's been asking, so I wanted to bring it to you guys, and we will definitely keep you guys posted as things change, as things progress, and definitely when we put the first bass in the pond. That's what I'm super excited about. I don't know exactly when that's going to be. We got to let the bait fish flourish for a little while and continue to grow and make sure that population gets established. But for now, I got to get back to watering my sod. It's one thing I didn't really think about when we laid all this grass down here. One, I didn't realize that it wasn't going to rain for like 10 days once we laid it, so you got to keep fresh sod wet. And then two, I didn't realize we don't really have a way to water it down here, so I had to go buy a portable pressure washer that sucks some of the pond water out, and I'm able to water the sod and keep it wet so it doesn't just all die on me. So I got to get back to work on that, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you're new to this, go back and check out the playlist of the whole pond series. You can see this project from start to finish. Like literally, this was a field 6 months ago. Not even that, 3 months ago, this was a field right here. So pretty cool to see it be a big pond now. So I'm super excited with how it turned out. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, leave me those likes, comments, good stuff down below, and we'll see you guys next time.